Scandal have a brand new song and it's about to premiere, as you can see. It says premiere will begin shortly. That means we have to wait a little while and then we'll get like an advert and then we'll get that animation that says 2 minutes to go. Anyway, Scandal are just such an important part of the music industry that every time they have a new song, it's really exciting. But I thought this is a particularly exciting time of their career. So they got this new EP coming up very soon. They're going to be releasing 3 singles in advance. The next one's going to be coming out right before the album, if my calculations are correct. And, you know, what we heard with that previous single was just so much fun. With Terror Boy, it was so much fun and joy that I was really excited to see what we get with this because, you know, Scandal have basically done so much in their career. They've been through so many different things. Oh, here comes the animation. I've got to finish my wrap up nice and quick. They've been through so much during their career. I mean, I was in Japan when they first debuted, you know, best part of 20 years ago. But since then, they've existed just as this wonderful example of the best of Japanese all-female rock bands and inspired so much of what's come afterwards. And of course, the fact they've been the longest female band in the world to not change a lineup, that Guinness record they got, it just again shows the strength of these female bands and what they influenced in Japan. So they're a big deal at any time. But obviously they went through a lot of changes. They've played with a lot of things. You know, we had like Mirror during the whole COVID era and everything. And, you know, it was kind of like a difficult time. And they came out of that. And I really enjoyed Luminous. I did a whole review of that on my main channel, like a broadcast. But I thought it was really good. But was it the best of Scandal? There were some great songs on there. Highlight continues to be the highlight for me. But you know, there was always this feeling we just kind of want to see a little bit of the joyful, all singing together Scandal that was just that. It's almost like the quintessential Scandal thing. Them all singing together, them all looking happy. You just need a few songs like that. Anyway, I've avoided spoilers for this song. I know this song already came out a few days ago. I have avoided spoilers. The only spoiler that I had for this is that someone on my Discord community came in there and accidentally spoiled Howard. It was like, oh, this song's really good, and it's got a little bit of brass in the background. I really like pop rock songs that have brass in the background. Not as a rule, but as a general guide, if you got brass in the background of your song, it's going to probably appeal to me. So, I don't know. That's the only thing I know. I'm really excited about this. Let's dive in. Oh, yeah, that's nice and loud. Oh, YouTube, don't you dare copyright block me for using your intro music. Let's go. So I know it's on the same set, but looking for a very different song. Again, going for that sort of the first take sort of thing where they walk on and we have to listen to them put their instruments on. Let's go. Let's go. Seriously, let's go!
ASSUN それならもう寝ちゃえばささくれたって閉じるスクリーン言えない捨て台詞をそばで
Already loving that summery bounce it's got. Again, a nice rhythm change. Even if it's just how, like, Rina's... Of course, I'm... We've got another catchy banger already! Oh, that bass line. Come on, he's doing a bit of walking today. Yeah, I'm loving that synth brass thing going on. I'm assuming it's a keyboard brass, but I'm loving that. Those fills again. It's very playful. I love this bit. That's a really strong chorus. I could say that's a stronger chorus than Terrorboy. Terrorboy was an earworm, but this is like a proper sing-along. That's a nice solo too. Oh! Bridge time. That's good. Work it back into the chorus. We're going to get a breakdown. It was predictable, but it was perfect. Oh, that's nice. I love the way they worked back into that. Yeah, this feels like old school Scandal, and I never ask for bands to go backwards, but sometimes reminding us of why you're as good as you are, that just felt special. That reminds you of why you're a Scandal fan. You know, that's just that you listen to that and you just think, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's why I'm a Scandal fan. I just felt this was just so alive with joy, which is funny because that's the same thing I'd said about Terrorboy, and yet this feels like a very different song. I mean, even the psychological aspect of seeing them performing on the same set with the same director, you know, sometimes can make songs feel a little bit more like they're connected. But this felt like a very fresh, different song. Again, similar vibe of being poppy, sing along, little claps and things in there, but there's so much about this which was really interesting. Whereas with Terrorboy, we went in a very sort of there was a lot of like earwormy, catchy, repetitive bits in the chorus, and you know we had like the synthesizers were doing something a little bit crazy in there. You know, we had the I can't think what it is. The instrument, it was the mid-Asian instrument. It was kind of impersonating there. Whereas this goes into a bit more of like it's sort of traditional rock and roll style of doing things, but you've got the clap rhythm in there, which is a nice little addition. I loved how when that came back in the last chorus, they had a little sound effect of a, hey, lots of people in the background. It was full of little joyful ideas like that. Yeah, I have to say, I really thought that the brass aspect, I loved that. It definitely has that kind of almost like, it's a little bit of a show tune, it's a little bit of a party tune, it's that kind of thing where it kind of gives you a similar vibe to why brass worked so well in ska. I mean, this is not a ska song, but that similar vibe that brass can give you those big punchy sort of jubilant notes, and that definitely came across here. The song would work without brass probably, but it was so much more punchy for having that. And once again, I am a big fan of bands who, when they get into the studio, they don't just limit themselves to the 4 members or however many members they are. They go, what song do we want to make, and they make it. So I love that aspect of it. Now, talking of making this, now I've heard some things. I'm sort of reserving this a little bit until I do hopefully an album review. I've heard that, so Terrorboy, I think they had like a friend of theirs guest wrote it, and I believe as well, I might be wrong, that this song also had a guest writer on it as well, and that they're basically working with people they know who are really good writers to help them sort of create these really fun, punchy songs just for this little EP. Now, I would say if I were to be thoughtful about this, I would say that what they appear to be doing is just putting out an EP of absolute bangers. These are just like pop bangers. These are the kind of songs that you'll get stuck in your head. I mean, already between this and Terrorboy, you're going to be listening to this on repeat play. You're going to be listening to Terrorboy probably already repeat play. You're going to be repeat playing these songs, and they definitely are playing towards that kind of sound from what I can tell. Which is interesting because I had said previously that as much as I loved the experimental music that we've had on things like Mirror and Luminous, I didn't feel like either of those, well, Mirror had One More Time, but I didn't feel like between those two albums there were necessarily super obvious scandal type singles on those albums. You know, they were albums that felt like they had just beautiful music. They were albums that you wanted to listen to as albums, but they weren't really sort of pushing so much for like the radio grabbing singles. Well, that appears to be what they're doing here. Sorry, I'm still a bit unwell, but that brought a lot of joy into my day. Yeah, that's 2 absolute radio-friendly bangers in a row. And I have no disrespect for that. You've got to keep variation in your career. And you know what? In the last few years, they've been kind of focusing on other things. They haven't really been focusing so much on doing the big radio-friendly bangers. And then 2 in a row. I like it. So I was really impressed by this. I thought it was great what they did. Rena was adding some really interesting little drum bits in it. It was all very subtle, but there was some nice breaks in there. I like the bit where the kick went sort of 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. It wasn't quite tripleting, but she was like sort of breaking up the she was breaking up the bar. I didn't represent that very well. She was breaking up the bar, and sort of like staggering the kick drum. I really liked that. It was very simple, but it just added a nice little bit of build up to that section. She was great there. Tomomi did some amazing bass work on this. Really loved it. I also love the fact that she sort of did it by walking the bass. It's very popular now to just go straight to slap. A lot of people do that, but sometimes, especially in a song like this, walking the bass is much better. It just kind of keeps you in that nice, you're still working in the rhythm section. You're not becoming so percussive. You're giving, you're just very much producing that quintessentially beautiful walking bass sound, which is so much easier to follow. Slap becomes so percussive that sometimes the notes almost get lost underneath it. So I really love the way that Tomomi did that. Mami had a really nice solo on this, very sort of modest rock and roll solo, but it just fit perfectly along with some great playing throughout. And I'm a big fan of Haruna's. I'm a big Haruna fan. Hashtag no bias. And she gave a really lovely performance in here. Again, I think her voice is just wonderful, and when she's doing songs that suit it, you can really tell. And this song just felt like it suited her voice. Couldn't imagine anyone else singing this already. Really loved it. There you go. Those are my thoughts. As always, get into the comments. Tell what you think. Oh, God, I'm dying. And until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now. Ciao, ciao.